Riding out on the hills and exploring on your e-bike is what it's all about, but learning how to manage your battery is definitely a skill in itself and can actually take a few months to learn. Today's video, we've been taking a look at getting the most out of your battery. Tyre choice is definitely somewhere you can get a lot more efficiency from your battery. You really need to make sure that tyre is fit for purpose for what you're doing. Now, a lot of e-bikes come with the plus tyres or the 29er. They often come in quite wide and big sticky compounds. Now, if you're riding just like fire roads and gentle forest tracks, there's no need for those big fat tyres. The Canyon Neuron behind me, it's got skinny 29-inch cross-country tyres. That is great for getting the miles and the efficiency out of the battery, but also if I was going to ride that bike in technical terrain, it really wouldn't be that good. So think about how you ride your bike, and if you can get away with those skinnier tyres, then I suggest you do so. E-bike motors, they love cadence. That means spinning the cranks around a lot more than you would do on a regular bike. Make sure you're spinning it up. If you're in too high a gear, it's kind of like labour in your car, meaning the motor's having to work a lot more. Therefore, it's going to eat into that battery a lot more. Make sure you use your display on your bike. Usually that has a cadence setting on there so you can see how much you're doing. A lot of e-bike motors like around 70 RPM, so make sure you're sitting in that sweet spot. One of the big things is about power management. You really need to stay in eco or trail. You might think that eco doesn't give you a lot of assistance, but a really good tip is to start your ride off with the actual power switched off and then turn the bike on and go into eco. Then you realize how much that motor actually does assist you. You really need to stay away from turbo and boost because those things really eat into your battery life. If you are a flat pedal user and you want a little bit more efficiency from your bike, you might want to consider swapping across to clipless pedals. They're meant to be that little bit more efficient. They're going to give you a little bit more power, and more importantly, they help with that cadence. Helps you spin a lot better with a set of clipless pedals rather than the stomping that you get on flat pedals. So maybe switching across to clipless might see a little rise in that MPG. Now, there's a huge range of cassettes available these days, all the way up to 50 teeth. So you might want to think about swapping up to a bigger cassette. It might help you stay away from changing into those higher power modes when climbing. And most of all, it keeps that vital cadence up to allow a nice spin up the hill. Think about saving weight on your bike as well. Have a look for your riding pack. Make sure you're not taking too much water. Maybe if you're taking a spare battery, do you actually need it? If you're going to be careful with that power selection, have a dig through. You've probably got about 20 gone off rotten power bars in the bottom there. Maybe a bit too much water. It's all about saving weight and making that battery last. Another thing you might want to check as well is your tyre pressure as well. It's quite a common myth that overinflated tyre will actually roll better. That's quite true on road bikes and things like that, but when it comes to off-road, you need to have that tyre set to the correct pressure, which allows it to roll over roots and rocks and things, and not be skipping around, wheel spinning and breaking traction. If it is breaking traction, skipping, you're going to be using more battery than you would do for a normal tyre that's going to grip and propel you along down the trail. Now, flow is definitely key when it comes to maintaining battery life. You really need to look ahead down the trail and anticipate what's coming. You really need to think about corner speed as well. Keep your speed up into the corners and out of the corners as well. Because if you constantly starting that bike, accelerating it, stopping it, back up to speed, it's going to use a lot more battery. So there you go. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video on how to get the most range from your battery. Eking out those last few miles could definitely help you out on those big rides. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed today's video, you can subscribe to EMBN by clicking the globe in the middle of the screen. But if you want to see this range thing taken to the extreme, then check out this 100k ride that I did over here. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Drop some comments in the box below. See you in the next one.